Greetings and welcome to the Reparenting Daily podcast. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into reparenting, exploring all of the tools and resources that you'll need to help you along your journey. This podcast is divided into 3 sections. The first is a daily reading. The second is a discussion of the reading, followed by suggested journal prompts. And the last section is a peaceful meditation for closing. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whenever and wherever you're joining us. I'm so glad you've joined us today on this journey of self-expansion and growth. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe this podcast wherever you're listening, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Your help here really makes a huge difference in allowing us to spread the word and build a more supportive community as we continue with our self-reparenting. Now, before we get started, I have some quick updates for you. First, I'd like to introduce our Patreon community. Here, for a small monthly fee, you can join us for 3 weekly meetings for additional support with your reparenting journey. On Sundays, we have a meditation group. On Tuesdays, we have a book club discussion. And on Thursdays, we have open topic conversations. You can find out more details about this if you go to the Reparenting Daily website and check out on the community tab. In addition to that, we also have a WhatsApp group to foster more daily connection and support for whenever you need it. And this is a community of fellow travelers from around the world who will always be there when help is needed. It's just one of the many ways that we're building our network of resources that are really going to help support your reparenting journey. For the next update, I'm very excited to announce that I've just released some first books. The first is probably the most important, and it's called the Reparenting Daily Journal. Now, this journal is a daily guide for 365 days of the year. We'll be starting in 2025, and basically each month corresponds to a theme in reparenting, and each week of each month corresponds to a sub-theme of the monthly theme. Now, from the beginning of the year, 2025, each daily episode will correspond with the themes in the daily workbooks. And so you can use this as a guide to work through your reparenting journey to stay focused, ensuring that you cover all of the most critical areas within a year's time. And again, this will be aligning up with the podcast, so you can use both of these to make a more engaging and interactive experience. This is ensuring that you really book progress on your reparenting journey. The next set of books I've written is called Fairy Tales for Reparenting. This is a collection of 3 books that contain short stories or fairy tales inspired from Jungian analysis, mythology, philosophy, and psychology that really is targeted to helping you connect to your inner child. And so these stories are very short. They're not very long. They're written in a very simple manner so that it's not too taxing on you, so you can more easily connect with the joy and fun of your inner child. More interestingly, however, is that at the end of each story, there's an analysis section that really analyzes the main themes and concepts within each story to provide encouragement and inspiration. Additionally, you will find corresponding journal prompts after each story and each analysis section to help you reflect deeper on how the themes of each fairy tale can be reflected and correspond to your own personal journey as you work towards self-expansion. You can find all of these books now available on Amazon, so go ahead and give us a look and give us some support. And as I've mentioned before, this entire process of reparenting and self-expansion is really about growth, iterative change, and continuous improvement. Much like the process of nurturing the bonsai tree, our reparenting journey requires our consistency and care. So many thanks for being here and for supporting this project, and also to committing on your journey of self-expansion. Now, without further ado, let's dive into today's practice. Today's reading is from Atomic Habits by James Clear. Just as a reminder, this is January. The theme of the month is self-awareness and self-reflection. We are on week 4, which runs January 22nd until the 31st. And the theme of this final week in January is recognizing patterns of behavior. The reading from today is coming from chapter 3. And it's entitled, Why Your Brain Builds Habits. A habit is behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic. The process of habit formations begins with trial and error. When you encounter a new situation in life, your brain has to make a decision how to respond to this. The first time you come across a problem, you're not sure how to solve it. Like thorns, like cat, you're just trying things out to see what works. Neurological activity in the brain is high during this period. You are carefully analyzing the situation and making conscious decisions about how to act. You're taking tons of new information and trying to make sense of it all. The brain is busy learning the most effective courses of action. Occasionally, like a cat pressing on a lever, you stumble across a solution. You're feeling anxious, and you discover that going for a run calms you down. You're mentally exhausted from a long day of work, and you learn that playing video games helps you relax. You're exploring, and then bam, a reward. After you stumble upon an expected reward, you alter your strategy for next time. Your brain immediately begins to catalog the events that preceded that reward. Wait a minute, that felt good. What did I do right before that? This is the feedback loop behind all human behavior. Try, fail, learn, try differently. With practice, the useless movements fade away and the useful actions get reinforced. This is a habit forming. Whenever you face a problem repeatedly, your brain begins to automate the process of solving it. Your habits are just a series of automatic solutions that solve the problems and stresses you face regularly. As behavioral scientist Jason Hra writes, habits are simply reliable solutions to recurring problems in your environment. Thank you, and that's the reading for today. Welcome back. The process of reparenting requires us to become aware of the automatic behaviors and thought patterns we've carried from our early experiences, particularly those shaped by childhood conditioning. This reading underscores the neurological basis of habit formation, emphasizing how repeated actions become deeply ingrained automatic responses to environmental triggers. In reparenting, recognizing the habitual responses is crucial because many of them were formed during our times of crisis and are hence survival mechanisms for coping strategies of early life. By understanding that habits are the brain's way of solving recurring problems, we can approach reparenting with more self-compassion, realizing that these patterns are not flaws, but strategies that once served a purpose, even if they are no longer serving us today. The reading also highlights how the brain catalogs, reward, and reinforces behaviors that lead to positive outcomes. In reparenting, we take control of this feedback loop by consciously choosing new and nurturing responses that lead to healthier outcomes instead of acting out of old scripts, like seeking comfort and harmful habits. We explore and reinforce healthier behaviors that, along with the care and love we aim to give ourselves, this rewiring process reduces mental energy spent on negative cycles and helps us create sustainable, supportive patterns. Recognizing the mechanism behind our automatic behaviors allows us to break free of old, limiting habits and step into the role of a nurturing inner parent. As we look at the journal prompts for today, number 1, what is one behavior or habit that I recognize in myself that I may have formed as a survival mechanism? How does it show up in my daily life now? Number 2, what new nurturing habit can I create to replace a behavior that no longer serves me? What reward can I associate with this new habit to reinforce it? And number 3, reflect on a moment when you consciously chose to respond differently to a familiar trigger. How did it feel? And when did you learn about yourself? And what did you learn about yourself in that moment? That's it for today. As always, thanks for being here. Take care of yourself and do be well. this is the third and final section of the daily podcast. This is your silent meditation. Please find a place where you can be comfortable and undisturbed, where you can relax and spend some time with yourself for this 10-minute silent meditation. You can choose to be sitting, standing, lying down, or in whatever position makes you comfortable today. Just take some time to listen to yourself. Next, be sure that you are taking some time to be with your breath to connect with your body. Don't be disturbed or overwhelmed by your thoughts. Simply allow them to pass. Just observe them. Do not engage with your thoughts. Only be mindful of them passing, as if they are drifting down a river. Use this time to connect with yourself. Whatever time of day you are listening to this, Namaste.